damage path, which began near Baxter Springs, went through the north side of Galena into Carl Junction and other parts of Jasper County. That possible tornado then damaged parts of Lamar and western parts of Cedar County. We will have a National Weather Service survey for you once those crews are able to get out and do some damage research. But downed power lines, uprooted trees, snapped branches, broken windows, even roofs blown off of metal buildings, plus a couple destroyed barns and outbuildings seem to be the worst of the damage. The good news, though, we didn't have any reports of injuries or fatalities. Your news is a service of Arvest Bank. Do you need a bank that loves to help? That's Arvest Bank. Come find out why customers love Arvest and the Arvest Go mobile app. They make banking easy so life is easier. Visit Arvest today. When you see news, call or text our tip line at 417-208-9TIP. For News Talk KZRG, I'm Ty Albright on KIX 102.5.
We'll see sunshine today with highs in the low 70s. Mostly clear skies tonight, low 50s. Sunshine, upper 70s for Tuesday, but the rain returns on Wednesday as we see highs in the mid 70s.
KIX 102.5 storm tracker radar still showing some clouds over the 4 states.
50 in Peoria, 48 in Pittsburgh, 49 in Joplin. To sign up for severe weather alerts, download the Zimmer Storm Center app.
It's time now for the KIX Kids Pledge, being brought to you by Josh Meeker at Country Financial. And today we're featuring Carly from Joplin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Carly. And if you'd like your kids to be on the KIX Kids Pledge, you can go to the KIX website. There's a button there on the main page that'll tell you how to upload your audio.
We're just 17 minutes away from your chance to guess and win the Great Plains Federal Credit Union secret sound.
All you have to do is be caller number 5 at 720. Tell us what the sound is, and all the money in the jackpot is yours.
It's Randy's theme song, Morgan Wallen. I'm the problem.
You're the problem.
You're the problem.
Your bass is a problem.
It's KIX 102.5.
Hey, everybody.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
How was your weekend?
Why am I so bright compared? Look at the difference there.
Did you peep on a lot of eggs? Good gosh, what the heck?
Did you peep on eggs?
Yeah, we probably should have restarted it, I guess, the cameras or something.
Morning, Daniel. How's everyone's Easter? Christy, Melissa, good morning.
If I reset
Thomas, good morning.
It's just going to be screwed up tomorrow.
Megan, I have just been thinking of you. You have just been in my heart.
So,
how are you feeling?
is she talking about it, or?
Are we talking about it? I told Randy. Just
Yeah.
knowing what he's been through.
I've been there.
I hope that's okay.
No, it was not.
I know. Should have asked beforehand.
Yeah, it won't even let me click on your camera controls.
Oh, because we're live.
No, it should. I've worked on these before while we were live. It has nothing to do with that. Your camera is locked up.
Okay. Good.
Oh, it let me zoom. Look at that. Well, no, it let me go into, and then now it.
You had your first cookout of the year yesterday, Floyd? How was that? The Train concert was awesome. I didn't know you were going to see Train, Daniel. When was that? Megan says, I'm going to be okay. My head hurt worse than the gallstones at the moment. Blood work was good, so they were caught early. We were trying to figure out why they were making them wait until the 2nd.
Yeah, that's really weird.
I mean, Randy was explaining earlier about some of the dangers of gallstones and traveling and things like that. I don't want to freak you out or anything, but I was just surprised that the doctors would make you wait that long. Yeah.
You're going to be a little darker, but that's okay. So here's the deal, Megan. I don't know do you understand what the danger is with gallstones? I had like 100 of them when they took my gallbladder out, and they were like, I went to the ER that night when I had an attack, which, by the way, if you've not had kidney stones, that's what kidney stones feels like, only it's up here instead of back here. And kidney stones probably a little more painful, but not a lot. It's about the same kind of thing. I remember waking up in the middle of the night going, oh no, it's kidney stones up here. I was like, shoot me now. But they took me to the ER. I was throwing up and cold sweats, all that stuff. And they did a CAT scan and still couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Down at our ERs here, it was like, well, we don't know for sure what it is, but we do advise you follow up. And by then, I was beginning to feel better. They had me on some really good pain medication.
Right.
I went to my doctor the next day. He looks through my chart and he goes, it's gallstones. He goes, this is very obviously gallstones. And he could list off, look at this. You can see your white blood cell count. You can see this. And he instantly knew it's gallstones.
How
He
did
goes,
the ER miss it?
and he was mad over that
Well,
because
yeah.
he also attends at that ER, and he's like, this is just stupid. He goes, there's going to be some heads rolling when I get into attending tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, sorry. So he sent me over to the gastroenterologist specialist, and they did an X-ray. He said, CAT scans are stupid. They won't show up on a CAT scan. You need an X-ray. This is the specialist saying that. And he came back and he goes, yep, you got gallstones. And I said, that's what my doctor said. He goes, about 100 of them. He goes, you're at the max. And I said, we got to schedule surgery immediately. I was like, okay. And I got my calendar out and I'm like, well, I've got some days off on 2 weeks. He goes, no, tomorrow. You're going in tomorrow to do it. And he explained to me about pancreatitis. The risk is that the gallstone will travel from the gallbladder to the pancreas and block the pancreal ducts. If that happens, then the bile builds up and it causes pancreatitis, which you die from. So that's why that's an important thing to not let this go. I mean, it can be life-threatening if the stones move from the gallstone to the pancreas. So yeah, it's one of those things you got to get taken care of ASAP.
Right. Yeah, Melissa said she went to the ER too. She was throwing up bile for 2 weeks straight to Joplin, figured out surgery was the fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went through this not that long ago either, Melissa.
And you might as well go ahead and get it out. Your gallbladder is not a thing that you need. I have never missed it. In fact, for about a month afterwards, I didn't need any omeprazole or any of that stuff to control the PPOs. And then it began to come back gradually until it was about like it had been before. But
15 seconds. Morning's the rah-rah.
you do not need a storage unit for your bile. That's all the gallbladder is.
Daniel, that's pretty cool.
KIX 102.5, the 4 states number one for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen. It's 7:09.
We'll see sunshine today, high near 72. It's 49 in Joplin.
We'll give you a look at the weather forecast, tell you about the return of rain by later in the week.
And we are just 10 minutes away from your chance to guess and win the Great Plains Federal Credit Union secret sound.
All you have to do is be caller number 5 at 7:20 and tell us what the sound is to win the cash.
How about some Rodney Atkins?
On KIX 102.5. No.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, Chrissy says her gallbladder is gone as well. Oh my gosh, Melissa did end up with acute pancreatitis.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah, because they waited too long, right, Melissa?
Megan says, I did a migraine cocktail, sent me home with an RX for Zofran, going for consultation the 2nd.
I bet it's not even a migraine thing. I bet the headaches and stuff that you're suffering under is related to this. It's weird how severe pain will affect you in other parts of your body, like throwing up from something in your kidneys. That makes no sense whatsoever. But the pain's so severe and passing out, the cold sweats, all of that stuff is so weird.
So a lot of folks on the live have had their gallbladder taken out. Jimmy had hers out 5 years ago.
Very common
Robert had hers
surgery.
out a couple years ago.
It takes them about an hour and a half to do it, and you go home, and then you lay on the couch for about 6 days because you're going to be sore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's it. You're sore. It makes 3 little bitty holes. They make one above your belly button, one right up here, and then one over on your right side. And they go in there with, like, knitting needles and do a whole bunch of this. And they build a sweater for Grandma and pull it, happy birthday. No, they... That's what it feels like they've done. And then little bitty stitch things that you don't even have to, I don't think I even had to have them taken out. I think they dissolved or Or maybe I cut them out. I don't know. I would not go back to the doctor and get stitches cut. Anybody can do that. I know it took about 6 days before I began moving around,
Yeah. Do they know how many are in there, Megan, or anything like that?
If they did x-rays, they will, but if not, probably not.
Well, how else do they diagnose?
It's
gallstones?
like a hospital's policy to first go do a CAT scan or an MRI. They want to do that because there's more revenue from those machines. And it's stupid because that costs a fortune. That's why insurance bills are so high. But that's their go-to thing now is CAT scans, which do not show everything. Mineral content, stuff like that, totally gets skipped over.
Melissa says once you have had pancreatitis, you'll have episodes frequently if you don't eat right.
I don't doubt that. Yeah.
Stinks.
So it could throw off your entire bile production.
Jeez.
It's very, very dangerous. Pancreatitis, very. And you have to probably monitor all that and keep a watch out for pancreatic cancer after that, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Melissa?
Melissa's got 4 incision sites, not the 3.
4?
Well, I wonder if it's because you were having pancreatitis that they had to give a 4th.
Yeah, I
incision.
bet so. So the pancreas down here.
Yeah, it's on the other side.
They go in here for the bile duct and here for the gallbladder to remove. And then over here, I think, is just for the joystick. I don't know.
For the joystick.
But if the pancreas being down there, that would make sense, and then a back door for the puppy. So our stupid dog, we've decided to have her for supper or something. She last night was freaking out, even though there was no weather last night, right? There was no lightning or thunder last night, was
Not
there?
last night that I can remember, no.
She's, all through the night, shivering, shaking. And when she does, and we've got a sleep number bed, which no transferal of movement. Well, not with this dog. She's like this. And she's also doing this thing. So finally, I kicked her out. I'm like, that's enough. Get out. I will not enable that kind of fear-based behavior. And I'm going to have to do something better because we're just not getting sleep at all.
More than just last night? Something else happened?
Well, and Gina's not sleeping well either.
Oh.
Makes her nervous that I'm in bed with her.
I mean,
Get it?
yeah.
It's like, you chose it, lady.
Doesn't Bella have a kennel? You can
Yes.
go sleep in.
But she'll do this.
Oh, that's annoying.
I
No.
sprayed her down and stuff. So
No.
it's fine. She can just sleep in her little doggy bed down at the, on the floor.
Yeah.
That's going to start having to happen. She's always been able to stay with us in bed. And it's only during inclement weather that she's a pain in the butt.
Morning, Christine. Morning, Tiffany.
Oh, you did do the Easter pig.
Yeah. Hold on, Tiffany. Cut off your message. I missed it. Tiffany says she's got 4 incision sites for her gallbladder, but that's because she was also getting her tubes taken out. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, when you're really evil, they have to make more holes.
I can't believe. So who has their gallbladder? Me? I have mine still. Who else? Anybody?
It's like the modern appendicitis thing, appendix.
The majority
surgery.
of the people on the live don't have their gallbladder.
How many of y'all have
I'm
your
amazed.
appendix? How
I
many
have
has
that
had
too.
their appendix? I still have my appendix. My dad had his out, so it's usually an indicator if someone in your family's had to have theirs out. Every time I've had kidney stones, gallstones, anything, I've thought, there's got to be appendicitis, even though appendix are down in here somewhere. Somewhere.
Daniel still has everything. I do too. Megan's got both. Well, for now. Sarah and Melissa both have their appendix, not gallbladders, though. 5 seconds. Here we go. 2.
KIX 102.5, the 4 states #1 for country.
We've got your first chance of the week to get someone the Great Plains Federal Credit Union Secrets on right after Luke Bryan.
On KIX 102.5.
Christy still has her appendix. But none of y'all have gallbladders, right? It was an interesting Easter, to say the least, Christy. Poor boy, bless his heart, was throwing up, and we're down in the
Storm
shelter, and no one
What's wrong
bothered
with
to
him?
grab him a bucket.
Did he just stick it in his stomach? Just
Oh,
too
yeah.
much candy?
That's what he thinks, because he had a whole basket full of candy and blazed through it very, very, very quickly. Floyd still has everything, too.
What the aliens took out while he was asleep.
Mm-hmm. Tiffany's got her appendix. She got gallstones when she was pregnant with Addie. Had to wait until I had her to get my gallbladder taken out. Okay.
Gallstones are pretty common, and it's a very
Sounds
common
like.
surgery.
I had
It's
no
a very
idea.
quick in and out thing. I had so much fun over at the hospital, went not
What?
getting them taken out, but beforehand, I was very dehydrated, and they had a hard time getting the IV in me. So
not
the
good.
poor nurse tried 12 times.
Oh, no.
And then went over to the other arm and tried like 4 or 5 times. Finally had to go get an RN, and they finally had to go in up in here. Could not get a vein up for the what they call that tap, vein tap that they do on the back of your hand. Finally had to go somewhere else to get it.
Yeah.
And because I was dehydrated, it wasn't her fault. And she's like, "I'm so sorry, I keep sticking you." I'm like, "It's all right, doesn't hurt, it's okay." And then they gave me the good drugs before they went and took the X-rays. So X-rays are clear on the other side of the hospital, and they have to wheel me. I sang at the top of my lungs, "Give me a where the buffalo roam." You know me. I mean, I'm like, "Hey, look, there's no back to this thing." I'm also, and they're laughing so hard. They could barely walk. But yeah, I was a little noisy. It makes my wife very nervous when I come off of anesthesia because I've been known to talk dirty during that time if she's there. I'm very amorous, and she's like, "Shut up, shut up." And I'm like, no, come here, let me, and, shut up. She's trying to get me to shut up.
Sarah said she had to have the IV on the back of her hand because they couldn't get it in her arm. It's either your
They
elbow
usually
pit,
do.
your hand,
This
or they
is-
can go up here too, and that sucks.
This is the more common place for an IV line.
24 seconds to seek a sound.
All right, so I think I got all the spammers. Man, it took over an hour. There were so many from over the weekend. Oh, wait, there's another one. Alan Jackson. I didn't see that. KIX 102.5, the 4 states. #1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen.
We'll see sunshine today, highs in the low 70s. It's 49 in Joplin.
We'll give you a look at the weather forecast for the entire week in just 5 minutes.
But let's see if we can give away some cash for the Great Plains Federal Credit Union Secret Sound.
All you have to do is be caller number 5 at 623-1025.
And tell us, what is this sound?
And you're going to win $352.50.
From the 4 states, #1 for cash.
Hi there, Morning KIX.
Caller #1, keep trying.
Hi, Morning KIX.
Caller #2, keep trying.
Hi, Morning KIX.
Caller #3, keep trying.
Hi, Morning KIX.
Caller #4, keep trying.
Hi, Morning KIX. Who is this? Who? Wait, can you take us off speakerphone? We can barely hear you. Tisha? Did you say Trisha or Tisha? Tisha. Where are you from, Tisha? Tisha from Chanute.
You are caller #5.
All right, Tisha, we've got $352.50 in cash.
And we'd love to give it to you if you can tell us, what is this sound?
She says biting into a hard shell taco.
For $352.50, that is not it.
We're going to put another $25 in the jackpot, Tisha, making it $377.50.
And give you another chance to get some win at 420 with Brett. Okay, thanks. Have a great
Get
day.
it wrong, but okay.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It totally hurts way worse in the hand. I would rather have it in the elbow pit, but I think getting it like up here in the arm sucks too. Got 1 minute. Tiffany says we dodged at least 3 tornadoes yesterday without knowing it until after the fact.
Wow.
They went from Parsons all the way back. How long was that drive? Good gracious. Was it 6 hours? You prefer the hand as opposed to the elbow pit?
I would
Daniel?
too. I do too.
Really?
None of it hurts that much. That's just more convenient, less bruising. But, and I've got really good veins. You can see them. It's just, if I get dehydrated, I don't drink my water and stuff, then they just collapse.
Yeah.
And I was even telling her, look, you can see it right there. Here, get that, lady. KIX 102.5, the 4 states #1 for cash.
Looking for caller number 5 to guess and win the Great Plains Federal Credit Union secret sound.
Tisha from Chanute.
You are caller number 5.
Yay!
All right, Tisha, we've got $352.50 in cash.
And we'd love to give it to you if you can tell us what is this sound.
She says biting into a hard shell taco.
For $352.50, that is not it.
We're going to put another $25 in the jackpot, Tisha, making it $377.50.
And give you another chance to guess and win at 420 with Brett.
Is it biting into a hard shell taco?
Yes, that's right. I copied and pasted the wrong thing. It was so quiet, it was hard to see it. Happy Monday. Tisha, we already talked about this, honey. Nice try, second time. Yes, that's not it. I said that's it.
You did.
Whatever, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Heck with all y'all. She's wrong, all right? It's not that. There's people right now driving going, oh, I just missed my turn.
They're like, what?
What just happened?
Yeah, I prefer no needles as well. Me too. Megan says, surgery anxiety is real, but I made it through a C-section, so I'm telling myself it'll be okay.
Yeah,
It'll be
this
okay.
is such a
Yeah.
common routine. Hey, they get you really stoned, and you get to go home and spend a week
Woohoo!
being waited on the couch. So it's like a little vacation. I actually enjoyed. Lauren stayed and kept me company that whole week. She had time off, and so she stayed and kept me company all week. And we watched movies together. We did binge movie watch things, all the Star Wars movies and horror movies and all the movies that she hadn't seen that I'd wanted her to see. We did a whole bunch of that. Played games. She read to me.
That sounds
It was
fun.
a great time.
Did Randy touch the wrong button, basically?
No, it wasn't a button thing. It was, her phone was so stinking quiet that I went to copy her saying, all right, thank you guys, and put that at the end. What happened to that? Where did that piece go? Because I swear I copied that right out of there.
Not on the floor.
No, not over there.
You want to keep the stones, Megan?
You know what? That really irritates me. They brought out my kidney stones and showed them to me. And that's the last time I ever saw them. My gallstones, they never showed me nothing. It's like once they're done, they're moving on. I never saw another thing. And I mean, if there's 100 of them, I could make a necklace or something.
What does a gallstone even look like?
Like a mineral. It's like a little rock.
Are they cool looking?
No, I don't think so. I think they just look like little pieces of gravel.
Ew.
Right?
That's kind of a gross look. They kind of look like
Gross
moldy
gravel.
black-eyed peas.
Yeah. So they are mineral deposits. It's when your body does not process minerals correctly. You people who are secretors, which is a beautiful term.
Gross word.
But are going to be more likely to have kidney stones, gallstones. Chances are, if you have kidney stones, then you probably are going to get gallstones.
They're all different. What do the colors mean?
Some
are green, some are black, some are kind of earwaxy colored.
When you're angry, they turn more red.
Oh, I didn't know that. Daniel, you've had 2 heart surgeries?
Really? Kind of young to have all those, right?
Oh, Tiffany, that is so scary. They're doing 45 on I-44. Everyone had their flashers on. It was raining so hard they couldn't even see the lines.
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh.
If I'm near a town, I will pull into a convenience store and just wait it out.
Jimmy said her mom kept hers, found them in a bottle, and her stuff.
They're, if you get really thirsty there, I guess they're good to suck on until you can get to water.
Ooh.
Sorry. Good. What you eating?
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Gallstones.
Gross. Daniel's got AFib. Okay.
Oh, well, okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So he's at a higher risk of stroke, according to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Stupid commercials.
Aren't you guys so glad that you hang out with us? Well, I hope they let you keep them then, Megan. I don't see why they wouldn't. Otherwise, they're just going to throw them out, aren't they?
Yeah, and I would even push my doctor if I were you, Megan. I'd be like, let's go ahead and get this done. Don't put it off until they all too often want to do treatment. Finally, we have to do surgery. Let's just skip all of that. I know what they're doing. Let's just skip all of it. Sometimes you as a patient have to manage that.
Is it a money thing?
Yes, of course. Bye, it
Daniel.
is.
Yeah. Tell them that you collect these things. I don't like how the way that this camera is with the lighting, my hair always looks greasy.
I know.
It's very annoying.
I didn't want to say anything.
I look like I have greasy hair all the time.
Like she just did her annual dip.
Tiffany says they let the semis guide them. Oh, camera 4 looks terrible.
Is out of focus? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need to go up there and do the hand thing in front of it. Luke Bryan is by far and above the most spammed country music singer.
More than Blake?
Oh, yeah, way more than Blake. Probably twice as much as Blake.
Did they say why they're making you wait like almost 2 weeks, Megan?
Yeah, what was the reasoning behind that? If you can say. It's going to take that long to wash the stink off. I don't know that, I'm assuming. Blake Shelton, real page. Latest.
Real page.
It's called latest, and then in parentheses it says Blake Shelton, real page. I believe it. Here's all the follows. KIX 102.5, the 4 states, #1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen, 731.
I've got my Jen's movie rehab recap of Passion of the Christ right after Scotty McCreery.
On KIX 102.5. Yeah, so how was that?
Brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Did I not accurately describe it?
You did.
Yeah.
You did. It's
Maybe even undersold it.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't even look at our UCN stuff today. Oh, this might be usable this week. People think Jeff Bezos' space flight was fake. He addresses
Well, there's one point where Megan brought this up the other day where they
opens the
open the
door.
door
Yeah.
beforehand and then make him close it, and then he goes in with the key. And I'm like,
Yeah. Let me see what we have this week. I think there is a Mars Earth Day. Yeah, we actually do. We could use it. That's not too late, is it?
this Thursday? That's fine. Megan says the first available is what she was told.
And that's a month away almost?
Well, about 2 weeks for her to go in for this first initial appointment. Okay, I can't put gel in my hair
Anymore.
because it is just not sticking in my hair. Now it's all over my black
And it
shirt.
makes you look greasy.
It makes me look greasy.
What else?
Okay.
Elon Musk on his sister wife.
And his sister wives.
Here's what you missed on the season premiere of Sister Wives. I'm Elon Musk, and this is the story of my 4 baby moms and my approximately 12 to 15 children.
12 to 15.
Elon Musk
Yes,
is the
yes,
new
yes.
patriarch of Sister Wives, the reality show about one man's struggle to keep track of everyone in his life. Hey kids, Nevada, Vivian, Griffin, Kai, Saxon, Damien, Exa, Strider, Azure, Hector Mechanicus, Arcadia, Selden Lycurgus, and Romulus. Have any of you seen little XAE-A12? Oh dear. Don't tell me I've left him at the White House again.
So today is the annual White House egg roll. Which is weird, isn't it?
$20 seconds. Ready?
KIX 102.5, the 4 states, #1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen, 735.
Sunshine in low 70s. Today it's 49 in Joplin.
And we'll give you a look at the weather forecast in 4 states news in just 25 minutes.
Plus, in the next hour, we want to know what is the worst movie you've ever seen?
And we'll find out if that's the case for Jen for this week's edition of... So this is where we assigned Jen a movie to watch over the weekend because before she came to KIX, she had seen very few movies.
And so someone would make some kind of a movie reference, and I wouldn't know what they were talking about. I wouldn't get it.
So we're kind of playing catch up, and we're fleshing out her
Gross.
movie repertoire.
Every Friday, I'm assigned a movie to watch, and it's a classic movie pretty much everyone else has already seen, but I watched over the weekend, and then I come back on Monday, rank it 1 to 10, and let you know what I thought about it.
And speaking of, this weekend's, the Easter, of course, it being Easter, we decided to assign you Passion of the Christ, which most everybody else has seen except for you.
They've probably only watched it one time ever because this movie is gruesome.
So was it the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh, no, not even close.
Really?
I thought it was incredibly well directed. It's well acted. I think part of the reason that it's so gruesome is because of the way that it is portrayed. The lighting of it, the acting behind it, the storytelling, and the fact that it's real. And it was just one of those things that you're watching this movie, and as it progresses, you're like, this is awful. and you want to look away so many times, but you understand the importance of, not looking away and what Jesus went through. And there's so many different ways that you can feel for this. You can feel for it as someone who loves Jesus. You can feel for, Jesus and Mary as a mother who went through that with her son, and as a parent watching her child struggle. And I had no idea that it was going to be a 2-hour movie about these, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It was crazy to think about how just everything was just dragged out, but that's really how it went.
It was the Passover festival from the Friday until, of course, the
Right.
Sunday. One of the interesting scenes I always thought that we hadn't mentioned yet was, and it was the first time I'd ever seen this portrayed, the humanity when it flashed back to when he lived at home with his mother and they're kidding each other. They're joking around and stuff. And that was so foreign of a concept then. Now it's not so much.
Right. But I mean, just seeing it then, and you get to see the relationship between Jesus and Mary. And then, of course, you get to see just how human he was. Joking with his mother, as a carpenter, making the table and things like that, which is a very different way than I think we typically see Christ.
And I think oftentimes because of the association with Christianity, it's easy for us to take for granted what was at that time the worst death, and still, by some scientists' standards, the worst death you could experience.
I mean, well, you look at everything that he went through, and there was so much of they want to punish him, but not enough that he dies, and so he's
29 lashes.
29 lashes, exactly, because
Yeah.
30 would kill him. And so it was a brutal movie to watch. I don't think I could ever watch it again and go through that again, because afterwards you just feel so just
Numb.
drained, numb,
Yeah,
raw,
worn out.
absolutely. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this movie a 9.
Good rating, I think so, especially with everything that was involved with it. And now it's under your belt. You never have to watch it again till next Easter.
Oh, boy. It's Jen's Movie Rehab.
On the 4 states, #1 for country.
KIX 102.5.
Well handled.
Thank you. If Katy Perry went to space, I guess on the pilot car for NASCAR, Megan says. Ooh, crab rangoon do sound delicious.
Do or does?
They-
Wait, crab rangoon do is something totally
Crab
different. You don't want to eat crab rangoon do. Don't. It's crab rangoon don't.
I was looking at some reviews last night just to kind of get a feel for what other people were saying. And one of the biggest criticisms is folks were like, I want a movie that makes me feel uplifted and empowered by Christ by the end of it. And I was like, I don't think that was the point of the movie, though.
Yeah,
If that's what you're wanting.
it's a reminder. And I think we, as a culture, have gotten to live with this movie for what now, 20-some years it's been around or whatever?
I think it came out in 2004.
Yeah, so
About
21 years.
Yeah.
But before that, there was none of this. Your idea of Jesus was the that movie from the 70s that's so, I mean, it's so washed out, so campy. None of those, Jesus of Nazareth, that's the one.
Okay.
And it's so campy and so horribly acted and so white sugar is, I'm trying to think of, it's generic. And this was real feeling. And it reminded people, it's too easy. We wear the cross on our neck. We see it on symbology everywhere. It becomes part of the background without really understanding what that meant
Right.
or what was involved. And it was a good reminder. Just one time, though. Yeah. I have actually watched it twice. I watched it with someone who wanted to experience it, And even then I thought, why am I doing this?
Megan says, get rid of the poop string and the crawfish and crabs.
Crawfish, what? You want some what?
Well, she was talking about crab rangoon.
Poop string in your crawfish and crabs.
Crawfish.
Crawfish and crab. Crawfish? Crawfish. Yeah, I thought 9 was a good rating. That was any more I might have gone, I don't know. But any less, I would have been like, I don't know.
Because at the end of the day, it was an incredibly well-directed, well-acted movie.
Oh, and there were things that he did in it, like him holding the hammer, and that was Mel Gibson's hand.
The squelching sound effect, every time they used it, I was like, twitch.
Yeah. That, the teardrop from heaven.
Uh-huh.
That blew my mind when that happened. The snake in the garden. The girl who played Satan.
Yes.
Genius.
Yeah, she was eerie, unsettling.
Always so inquisitive. Such a perfect representation. Always before it's been the mustachioed, guy. That was so well done. And the little imp babies, yeah.
Oh, the imp baby was. And then all the kids yelling at Judas about being cursed.
Yeah.
And watching their faces kind of morph and shift. I was like, ooh.
I don't believe they show his bowels bursting out of his body. But they don't. In fact, when he hangs himself, it's just a shadow silhouette, isn't it?
Oh, no. There's his body there.
Okay.
I mean, the closest thing you get, you have the cow next to him that's deceased and rotten and covered in flies.
So that's Potter's Field, which is still there to this day in Jerusalem. Potter's Field, where Judas hung himself, and they bought that land, and it's cursed to this day. I mean, it's a place where they bury. You've heard people, prisoners are buried in a potter's field. That's where that term comes from. Potter was the name of the person who owned the land at that time, but I'm sure he was a potter of Potter's family. Yeah. But they bought that, and it became a place where people who had no recourse for burial or anything were buried. And ever since then, that's where you get that term.
So despite the crazy weather, how was Easter for everyone yesterday? Everyone get some candy, some good Easter egg hunts?
We watched The Last of Us last night.
Don't spoil it.
Not gonna, but
people on my Facebook were like sobbing over that movie. Or not movie, the TV show, that episode.
So we had to play so much. We had so much scheduled this weekend that didn't have a lot of time. I'm struggling against an oil leak with my vehicle. We've just discovered, and luckily it's just the drain plug, but I think it may have stripped out the pan when they did the last oil change. So
I'm just glad it's not a hole or something.
Well, I'm glad it's not a
leak.
Head gasket. That's what I'm glad. That's huge, huge deal. I was just in there cleaning it not that long ago. Clean off the air breather and all that stuff. And
no candy, Sarara.
You didn't deserve any candy, Sarara.
Hey.
Probably. Would you like a peep, Sarara?
Actually, these are kind of hitting the spot today. I don't mind them.
Couple of them. I don't want more than that. I feel like you could overdo it really easily.
You want that one?
I had a couple. I'm very sure.
I'm just the Dr. Pepper ones. I'm very over. I don't want. The phone's ringing. The phone's ringing. The phone's ringing.
Hey, no. Here, talk to him.
Hi, Morning KIX.
Oh,
Fatal Attraction.
Put that on the list.
So what is that one? Wait, so what is it? Oh, really? Yeah. What? Oh, no. Oh, no. Right. What a mess. Well, Randy had me put it on the list, so we'll add it, and it'll be 5 years, but it's on there. I love when people just make that sound because I'm like, I get it now. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. Do you want the ring thing? The big circle? Right.
So the Pope died early this morning.
Yeah.
I always kind of admired Pope Francis. I thought he was an okay one. I like Pope Benedict, too. It was really
10 seconds.
weird, that whole deal with him resigning. I didn't know that was even a
I
thing,
didn't know you're allowed to do that.
but he did. KIX 102.5. The 4 states number 1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen, 748.
Sunshine highs in the low 70s. It's 49 in Joplin.
And we'll give you a look at the weather forecast and 4 states news in just 12 minutes.
Plus, in the next hour, we want to know, what is the worst movie you've ever seen?
What's the worst one you've ever seen?
Oh, I think
Greener
right
Grass?
now. No,
You
I actually
liked-
really liked that movie.
That
I
was-
didn't like Bad Santa. And then what's the one with the hand?
Evil Dead 2?
I did not like that movie at all.
Gosh.
Well,
which-
I don't like a lot of blood and guts and things like that.
Well, yeah, Bad Santa did not have blood and guts and stuff like that.
No, I just didn't like the main character at all.
Weirdo.
No, I didn't think he was a very good
Weird,
guy.
weird.
Even at the end when they tried to show him as redeemed or whatever, I
You
was
don't
like,
have
he's still
to
getting
like
it wrong.
The character to appreciate the movie.
No, I didn't think it was well acted. I just thought it was a bad movie. I didn't
So,
like it.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
623-1025 to call or text.
And we'll be talking about those in the next hour. So, did you have a good Easter? Did the kids have a good Easter?
Yeah, we had a lot of candy is what we had in my house.
Well, see, that's the mistake you guys made.
What do you mean?
should have waited until today to buy your candy.
Oh, yes, because then it's all half off and you get it for cheaper.
That's
Yeah,
right.
true.
The half off Easter candy sales going on now at a store near you. Half off Easter candy sale. Tried to sell it, but they failed. Grabbing up bargains on Easter Monday. Yellow peeps of marshmallow. The prices are super low. It's half the price that it was yesterday. All the jelly beans are marked down. The cream eggs are really cheap. I'm overflowing my cart now with discount marshmallow peep. Woo-hoo! Oh, half off Easter candy sale. Chocolate bunnies I'll inhale. Grabbing up bargains on Easter Monday.
It's Morning Kicks with
Yay!
Randy and Jen on the 4 states number 1 for country.
KIX 102.5.
Morning, Dustin. Morning, Gary Crow. So Rara loves peeps.
So, yeah, the Pope, there was some question, would they go to Pope or Benedict and ask him to come back?
Mm-hmm.
And does he remain Benedict after he quits being Pope?
I don't know how that works.
Because that wasn't his name, you know. I don't know how any of that works. And no, they would not do that. So they will have a conclave now. And the whole conclave process is ridiculous. I mean, it's insane. All of the archbishops,
isn't it?
will come around from all over the country, all over the world, and they will meet sequestered in the Sistine Chapel, where they will be closed off. But they get to come out at the end of the day.
I don't know. I'm not sure how all that works.
It was my understanding that they stayed in the Sistine Chapel
Mhm.
the whole time, and that food was brought and left for them, and they had to take it in through. But apparently not. At the movie conclave that we just watched really went porously over that whole process. They had lots of interaction with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they just couldn't leave the Vatican. Yeah. Anyway, they And they will have to remain at the Vatican and they'll do vote after vote after vote, and they will campaign and petition until one of them is elected to be the Pope. And they'll do the smoke out the chimney, so they burn all the ballots with a special dye. And
Morning, Brian. So is Cardinal Farrell, is he up for it too, or no?
It is the Cardinals, not the Archbishops. It's the Cardinals. Yeah, it's the conclave of Cardinals. So my mistake. Yeah, he would be up for it too.
So he's like the go-to guy right now.
And he could be, but the Pope always has chosen one person to be in charge of the conclave in the event of his death. And that does not necessarily mean that he is the most favored one to be. In fact, usually the one who is in charge, the selected, does not become Pope. He is chosen to be the manager of the whole conclave thing for that very reason.
Mm-hmm.
But in the movie Conclave, the guy who is chosen is the one. I don't want to give a spoiler away on that movie. I just remembered what the big reveal was.
Huh. The Hills Have Eyes is the worst movie you've ever seen. Joe Dirt 2. Morning, Elizabeth.
What was the worst about The Hills Have Eyes? I've seen that, I believe. It's one of those that blurs in my background, in my memory.
Sarara said they didn't even finish The Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects is a horrible.
I don't know what that is either.
That's a Rob Zombie produced film. Anything produced by Rob Zombie, it's going to have this gratuitous, graphic, severe violence. I mean, they look at I think his goal is to show violence. I mean, like people getting their heads bashed in with hammers and stuff, and graphically filmed to where it's very realistic. And
I hate that.
Yeah, I do. I detest that. It's shock factor.
Right.
There is no artistic merit or value in that. It is literally a shock factor. The same argument could be applied to the movie that she just watched over the weekend.
Sure.
There is a certain element of that shock factor that makes it more impactful. Its redeeming value is the other parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, shock factor for shock factor's sake, just to gratuitize shock factor it's excrement, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And all of the Rob Zombie movies are.
Jimmy says, have you seen the new Reese's Peanut Butter and Jelly Cups?
No.
No.
Where are they?
But that
I don't
sounds
see them
delicious.
sitting here. What do you mean, have I seen them? Where?
Did
Are
you
they
hide
within
them
my
in here?
vision? I don't see them. Where are they? Why can't I see them? Is this a real thing? Are you
Are your
making
eyes
up?
open?
Yes.
I always wanted to see Joe Dirt, just because.
Joe Dirt
Just 'cause.
initially. She said Joe Dirt 2, which I didn't even know there was a Joe Dirt sequel. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Mine is Tusk.
Oh, gosh.
Hated that stupid
I don't know
movie.
why I've seen that movie, but I have.
And wasted so much time watching it. And I felt like I almost went to his house and beat him up if I'd known where he lived for taking that part of my life away from me.
Tusk was no
Tusk is just horrible, horrible, horrible. Grass is Greener is pretty bad too, but
Greener Grass.
yeah, that's what I mean.
I loved that movie.
Of course she did.
It's satire, and I thought it was great. Very well done.
It's stupid satire.
Yeah, I don't really like horror movies either. That being said, though, I really liked Friday the 13th.
She does. She's learning. I'm giving her the education process. Now, come on. Shining?
It's
That's
fine.
just a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't like gore movies.
No, I don't.
And I don't either. She's had to watch a few of them.
Sarah had the PB&J Reese's on Saturday.
Hey, Sarah, we didn't.
She said it was okay. You're not selling it.
You know what? I'm finding this out about a lot of the Reese's alternatives.
The lava one. The caramel one, though, that was good.
Now, the caramel Reese's is good. The white one is it gets worn out after a while. But none of them, except for the caramel one, quite reach the level of the original.
No.
I think they're trying too hard.
There's grape and strawberry. There's 2 different kinds of jelly that could be.
Do you really think that helps it that much?
Maybe.
I don't think it does.
Grape.
I want to hear the promo play on air. So not only did the Pope die, but our very good friend Hank Rotten Jr. died over the weekend.
Yeah.
That was sad news. He was
Very
a
sad news.
really, really good friend of mine. And
You've known him for a long time.
yeah, it was also, and this first time I'm ever revealing this, but I think most of you knew he was the voice of Mama.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Still thinking that through.
Yeah.
You know, he's got family and friends and everything that might not be good
Right.
for. James Ryan texted us and said the worst movie ever is Good Will Hunting.
No. 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 I know that's not true. I haven't seen the movie, but I know it's not true. You're just taking your ladle and sticking it down in the pot and then just stirring.
I did not like Good Will Hunting. But I've always sold it like it was the best movie ever because you don't get to watch it. So what are the shows coming this week?
What are they?
Tuesday night, the big one is the one Star Wars thing on. Well, are they not advertising that at all? Andor season 2 comes out, which is the
Like Wednesday, right?
Tuesday. It is the really, really good Star Wars series. All the others have been like, parts of them are good. Certain parts of the acting is bad and everything. But the Andor story is actually, it could have been a movie, I think. Speaking of Star Wars, I think we talked about this, that they're doing the Darth Maul story. Yeah, that's supposed to be coming out.
What is it, Dathomir?
Dathomir, the Dathomirian stories of Darth Maul. What's wrong with this?
Darth Maul.
That Dr. Pimple Popper Breaking Out is on tonight.
Pekka.
Guardians of the Galapagos is on Disney. Let me see. Another reality competition show on Netflix. What is their deal?
What is it now?
Battle Camp.
Battle Camp?
Does anybody watch these things? And that's it, really. There's a couple of other, it's a lot of documentaries coming out for some reason. We're in this part of the year where there is very little to watch on TV.
Pimple Poppers come into Lifetime?
Yeah, I think so. All of the winter shows have finally ended and everything. All those seasons are over, and they won't start new stuff until, is it late May, I think?
I don't know.
The summer TV season. And really, all summer long, it's pretty weak because they know people are outside more. And
Right. When does Severance come back?
next year is
Oh,
what I understand.
gosh,
Yeah,
that's
it'll
a
be
long ways off.
next winter, next January or February.
Where's Major this morning? Speaking of. We're into news.
Oh my gosh, did you hear the Jelly Roll story?
No, what happened with Jelly Roll?
So he revealed that he once pooped himself during a concert on stage.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do in that situation?
Holy cow, you clinch.
Well, sometimes that's not enough.
Well, him and Luke Bryan were talking on Jennifer Hudson Friday, and he told this. I would never tell it if it did happen. They discussed some of their most embarrassing moments. He said he didn't immediately realize what had happened, which raises its own set of questions. Said his fans in the audience knew.
No.
He said, I watched this crowd go from loving me to be completely disgusted, grossed out. Just
Oh, no.
He didn't know, and they did.
Oh, no.
I
How
think
do
he
you not
needs
know? What is
to
going
see
on
a doctor.
back there?
Yeah. This is why you want your gallbladder out, Megan. Probably.
We'll see sunshine today with highs in the low 70s. Mostly clear skies tonight, low 50s. Sunshine, upper 70s for Tuesday. And the rain returns on Wednesday as we see highs in the mid 70s.
KIX 102.5 storm tracker radar showing a lot of cloud cover over the 4 states.
54 in Fairland, 50 in Pittsburgh, 50 in Joplin. To sign up for severe weather alerts, download the Zimmer Storm Center app.
So we're talking about the worst movie that you've ever seen. What was it for you?
Okay, and James Ryan, sir, not Good Will Hunting. I haven't seen that movie, but I can tell you, I'm sure it's not the worst movie.
We don't want to tell her that just yet, James. We want to make her think she's missing out on the greatest movie ever.
623-1025 to call or text and tell us the worst movie ever, not Good Will Hunting.
Here's Tyler Hubbard.
On KIX 102.5. James.
So scientists say they've invented a new color.
Ooh, what is that?
Well, you can't see it. You experience it.
Then it's not a color, right?
No, it is. It is perceptible.
What?
But only the way. So they did this at Berkeley, which there's been crazy stuff done there before. They conducted an experiment in which
phone's ringing. Hold
subjects
on.
had laser pulses fired into their eyes.
That
Seems
sounds
safe, right?
Yeah.
By stimulating individual cells in the retina, the laser pushes their color perception beyond its natural limits, and they're able to experience a color the human eye normally can't see, much the same way that LSD does, I think.
Let's answer the phone real quick.
Hi there, Morning KIX. Hello.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Here?
Tom Hanks, and it's here.
I don't think I know that movie.
I think I remember that one. Is that the one where he plays the overweight guy?
So what's it about?
Oh, wait a minute. Tom Hanks. I thought she said Tom Cruise. I watched the same movie, and I thought it sucked. It's horrible. It's got these scenes that go back and show this Indian couple having a baby on a rock and all this stuff. It was so dumb. And they used CGI to recreate some of the scenes. The novelty of that movie wore off in about 5 minutes, didn't it? Yeah, I think he got sold on the idea of they never move the camera. The entire movie, the camera is in the same exact spot. I mean, and you're like, oh, well, that's a unique idea. No, listen to yourself. It never moves the entire movie. It's
got to get boring, right?
Yes, very boring. And so to try to redeem it, they created all these things happening that just made it flop.
Yeah. What a shame.
Yeah. Thanks for your call.
Have a great day.
So my buddy just texted me and said, can I nominate Silence for the worst movie ever? And I'm like, no, you may not. So I've got to give him a response that is worthy of this.
fart sound. Randy loves that movie. KIX dinners will be so much shorter now. Why is that the response after Jelly Roll pooping himself on stage?
Dang it, why can't I find any GIFs around the movie Silence?
I wonder.
Well, this will work, though. Where did it go? So anyway, this new color that we were talking about. The 5 people who have seen it says it's a blue-green sort of saturated turquoise, although describing it that way does not fully capture the richness of the experience. They said, oh, yeah, sure, you've got to say that. They're calling the color Olo.
It sounds like drugs.
Yes. They say there's no way to convey the color on a computer screen or a color sample at all. They stress it can only be experienced through laser manipulation of the retina. Well, now Jen wants a nail color of that.
Yeah,
nail
I do.
polish that
Come
color.
on. How
I
cute
was
would that
hoping
be?
for something in the more of the orangey pinkish range, but whatever.
When is the next KIX lunch?
When we
Whenever
have it,
Shiala
it'll be
comes.
probably around 11:30 or noon.
I am very busy next month. So probably
Never.
June. Maybe.
We could do.
Amber from Walker says the worst movie I've ever seen is Knock Knock.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
We have a thing on our calendar
Or
for on here. We didn't put it on here. Somebody did. U10 Red.
oh, that's me. I thought they put it on just mine. I didn't think I put that on yours. I'm so sorry.
Well, if we share a calendar. But yeah, it's on ours.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're busy that day.
I was trying to look ahead at the boys soccer stuff.
And I'm busy. So I've got Gina's birthday and Lauren's birthday are both coming up next weekend. Deb's Sup Party.
I don't know what that is. That's you.
Oh, I do
Hold
know
on, here
what
we go,
that
here we
is. Yeah. KIX 102.5, the 4 states number 1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen, 809.
We'll see sunshine today, highs in the low 70s. It's 50 in Joplin.
And we'll give you a look at the weather forecast in 15 minutes, but we're talking about the worst movie that you've ever seen.
623-1025 to call or text or tell us on Facebook.
I feel like we should have assigned you a worst movie so that you could come in and whine about it today.
Probably. That would have been a good idea.
You know, what's his name was saying Good Will Hunting.
No. Good Will Hunting, I'm sure, was glorious.
Yeah, it's the best movie ever, Jen. I'm so sorry you've not seen it, that
One
you
of these
missed your
days.
opportunity to see
Oh,
it.
my gosh, you can assign it on Friday.
No, we're not
That's
doing
such a
that.
good idea.
We've already assigned that movie. You just chose not to watch it.
It was a mistake.
Yes, it was a very big mistake, and you're living through that now and the consequences of your mistake. But what is the worst movie that you've ever seen?
623-1025 to call or text.
Or tell us on Facebook.
Here's Lainey Wilson.
On KIX 102.5. Resale reestablished. Yeah, okay, my friend.
Career Day is on Friday.
And then the 17th, I don't have anything. And then I'm on vacation the 24th. I think most of us are. Because of Memorial Day weekend.
You're taking off the Friday beforehand. Stink.
And then we have the NBAs the next weekend. Did we?
Are you going?
I haven't heard a word about it.
I haven't either.
I figured, and Mark even reminded they were doing scheduling MJ's live broadcast. He said, just a heads up, guys, we've got NBAs that weekend. So I assume we'll be going again. Did we not go Friday and Saturday last year?
We did.
That's what I thought. Because I remembered that's the first time we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
We went down early on a Friday, didn't we?
Yes,
Yes, because I remember we did tracking for that day.
why we went so early.
Something to do with wanting us to attend all the deals, the things.
There's hardly any this year.
Good.
There's a couple about AI.
Are they on Friday or are they all on Saturday? Did you?
I don't remember.
Anyway, the NBAs will be that weekend, so I'm sure we'll be busy that weekend. So yeah, pretty much the next month is out. And then even into June, my anniversary is the June 5th, so we'll be gone the 7th, celebrating that. And then after that, maybe somewhere in the middle of June, somewhere we could do one.
Yeah.
It's very hard to plan that far out, though.
You're already taking off the third too, dag nabbit. I was going to take that day off.
Well, we could. It is a doable thing. I've already done everything through the end of the year. Have you not? You can look through there. I did the rotation thing, right? Unless you have other desires or want to negotiate that out.
Oh my gosh, stop scrolling that way. I just like taking off between Christmas and New Year because the kids don't have school and they don't have Boys and Girls Club, and Kyle's work will not allow him to take off time during that.
But I do too. But I might be, you might be able to talk me into it. I don't know how. Might barter something. And I'm not planning around Thanksgiving really. Right now, it's looking like last week of July is what we're going to take for vacation. And that's not set in stone. That's just whatever. Because we're broke. I am taking Good Friday. Or, not Good
That's
Friday.
fast.
Black Friday. The bad Friday. But we can easily both do that.
I'm not that worried about Thanksgiving week. It's just that week between Christmas and New Year's is really hard to get the kids covered.
Yeah. We've always traded that, though.
Have we? I feel like I've always taken that week off since I started working here.
In 20 years, I've always traded it with my co-host.
Yeah, I had it last year. Nope. I had it in 2023.
Well, that's not fair.
And then you had it in 2022 because I didn't have any vacation.
But you can talk me out of it. I'll have to really get on it because Gina has already put in for it and has already gotten it approved with her work. And that's a big deal with them going through our list. It's a hassle to change vacation.
Luckily, it's 8 months out. Morning, Mama Carla.
But it's a huge process. Has to go through 3 different approval processes. Has to be in writing so many different ways and everything. They make it very complicated. She brought home the charts for her vacation time the other day. I'm like, holy cow, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm. Is that their way of trying to get you to not take vacation?
I think.
I'm going to have to wash the gel out of my hair tonight. This is making me crazy.
Yes, you
I hate it. Why do you guys just keep doing the eyeballs?
They're talking about their vacation schedule. This is not entertaining to you? Are you not entertained?
I was just about to say that. 10 seconds. We got a sec here.
Behind the scenes radio. This is it. KIX 102.5, the 4 states #1 for country.
Here's Jelly Roll.
On KIX. Every time. He is not okay.
Oh.
I'll just do this in the middle of the song.
I was waiting on you. Yeah.
What? How did they know? What was the indicator?
That he had pooped?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they see it? But here's the deal. If you poop that bad that the people in the front row can tell.
I mean, was there a bulge?
I feel like.
Or was it just a stain?
But his pants are kind of saggy.
Did he shart?
I'm assuming. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened.
But I hope that was it and not, like a log showing through. Could you just see it? Oh my gosh. Or if it came rolling out of pants leg, or
So gross.
Oh, Woody just came on.
Oh, no. Oh, down the leg. Oh, and he steps in it. Oh.
Oh, Woody, you just missed an award-winning show today.
Oh. Oh, made my hair stick up on end. Chuck. Morning, Major.
How did they know? Maybe he had it. He made his own little jelly roll.
Oh, gross.
That's why they call him Jelly Roll.
I'm just assuming they could tell through the pants that there was a little something going on. Maybe the smell was that bad.
Amber says, Knock Knock is the movie she thinks is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. She's told me about this. This is, she's mentioned this before. It's a horror crime show. It stars Keanu Reeves.
Well, how was your Easter, Mama Carla? Glad that you get to be with us now, at least. Have you seen the little meme of, what was it, like the brains yelling at the gallstones, or one of the organs is yelling at the gallstones, or yelling at the gallbladder for making gallstones, and he's like, but I made these, and it's really sad, and you idiot, what did you do? Why did you make those?
Oh. Yep, Megan's got gallstones. That's why she's been so sick here lately. It wasn't her genes.
It wasn't her gene. Oh my gosh, this one right here. This one always just made me so sad. Where are you? Where's the window at? Here we go.
10 seconds.
Okay, it won't send.
KIX 102.5, the 4 states #1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen. That's Jelly Roll. He had a interesting little interview. Him and Luke Bryan were on with Jennifer Hudson on Friday.
I can't believe he told this story.
No. He told it that they were talking about the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to him on stage.
Right.
And he told his. And it had something about Jelly Roll production.
On stage, in front of the entire audience.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. He was not aware of what had happened, but the
audience
front row
was.
knew.
So we've been speculating. How did they know?
I don't know. Was it like a stain or a
If you don't know
smell?
what we're talking about, it was, yeah, he did that. There you go.
Except it was a little more than just that.
Apparently. Maybe. Oh, there's all sorts of speculation to go
gross.
into that. It's going to be cloudy today. Highs are supposed to get up into the lower 70s.
It is 50 in Joplin.
And we'll give you a look at the weather forecast in just 4 minutes.
But we're talking about the worst movie that you've ever seen.
623-1025 to text or tell us yours.
You can also tell us on Facebook.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
As of late, it would probably be Lego Batman.
Well, I love Lego Batman.
What is it you don't like about it?
The thing is I don't know what they did to Batman. They made him, like, mentally ill.
Really?
He was torn up about his parents, but then I don't know. I just was watching it like, what is this?
Do you know the story of Batman? He is pretty much mentally ill.
I mean, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Worst movie I've ever seen, I have to say, hands down, 1980s, early 90s movie called Rubber.
That's not a movie. That is a
Randy. Rubber?
That's not a movie, dude. That's a commercial, I think.
Yes, it is the absolute dumbest movie. It was supposed to be a big hit horror movie back then, but all it's about is a tire that rolls around and apparently has special powers and it murders people.
Now available at a tire store near you.
This has got to be a joke, right?
No, I'm not even joking. In
I
fact,
remember
I
this.
told all of my friends, look, if you don't believe me, just go look up the movie Rubber. It is so stupid you cannot believe it.
I remember that it's out in the middle of the desert, and it's
Right.
literally a tire that rolls around killing people.
But he's not rolling people over. He's using his mind powers to kill them, right?
He rolls them over quite a bit, too. There's a lot of running you down and stuff. It is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen. Yeah.
Wait, how did the tire become psychic?
I think it was possessed by an evil
okay.
spirit or something.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Well, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've got to say it's the stupid Sharknado movie.
Oh, my gosh, they're horrible.
How are they making like 13 or 14 of these things?
That's my question. I turned it on one day because I'd heard a lot about it. Decided I was going to sit down and watch it, and I couldn't. I just couldn't bear it.
It's got to be the dumbest movie idea in the world.
Yeah, that's what people need to remember. If they've ever had a stupid idea, they just got to remember that somebody somewhere in a meeting one day said, hey, let's make a movie about a tornado full of sharks.
What is the worst movie that you've ever seen?
623-1025, or you can tell us on Facebook.
It's the 4 states #1 for country.
I like that EQ. Hi there, Morning Kicks. What is the absolute worst stinker of a movie that you've ever seen? Yeah,
Oh,
Jen,
no.
let's assign that one
I
this
wanna watch
weekend.
that one. That
She
sounds
loves
awful.
hand movies.
No, I don't.
Thanks for calling.
Have a great day.
Hi there, Morning Kicks. What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Batman.
You didn't like Batman?
You didn't like Batman? Which Batman? Was Kevin Bacon
Kevin
Batman?
Bacon was Batman? Hold on.
He might
Wait a
as well have
second.
been. He's everything else.
Kevin Bacon Batman.
Kevin Bacon, was he?
His only connection to Batman appears to be a brief self-referential cameo in the 2014 video Na 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 Batman.
Well, that's the one he's talking about. No, Batman, right?
Wow.
Ooh, hoo, hoo.
What can we do for you today?
Garth.
All right. We'll try and get some on for you, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Later.
Mm-hmm.
I did try out new impulse responses this weekend.
What's that?
Impulse responses are these, like they're 2 millisecond long audio files of their recordings of a digital sine wave sent through a speaker cabinet. What that does is it captures the nuances, the characteristics of said speaker. So different speakers sound different, right? You know,
Right.
a 15 has more thump and more body and push than a 12 will have. And based on the kind of box that the speaker sits inside of, especially when it comes to guitars, it's a huge, probably 50 to 60%.
We're talking guitars.
Yeah.
I just got that.
50 to 60% of your guitar sound will come from the speaker cabinet.
The more you know.
So it's a huge deal when I switch this. It drastically changes the way things sound. And I went into a whole new mic capture configuration and everything.
Was it good? Did you like
Yeah,
it?
it was really good. It was a bit of a struggle finding it. So what they do is when they do a capture, they will take a microphone and they will put it right in the center of the speaker, and that is called position 1. Then they will do an angle off of the center cone and the outer baffle. That's called position 2. Position 3 is on the baffle, and then position 4 is on the little rubberized edge. That's 4, and then 5 is off and out to the side. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you have to go through each one of those, play a little bit, and decide. And this will be very mid-rangey, this kind of a sound. This out here will be very bassy as that goes through. So you have to play through each one and see how it reacts before you decide, yes, this is the one that I like. Well, then I have a combination of those I have an amplifier, speaker. So I have to see how those two work together. It's a huge process of monitor auditioning.
Why did you decide to do that this weekend?
Well, I was not liking the high pitch. It was a little too shrill sounding, I thought. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was on E2 and it's a different position. They have a different EQ curve. But in the process of trying to mitigate that shrillness, I stumbled upon these. It was a Bradshaw speaker cabinet and a AC30 greenback Celestion cabinet combination.
Whatever that means.
And it was beautiful.
Beautiful. How is your commissioned guitar going? Well, I guess you didn't really commission it, but
Yeah, it's he got in the fret saws, so it takes a special kind of saw to cut the line where the metal is driven down into the fretboard. So we got that last week. I saw him yesterday, but we didn't have time to talk, so I assume that's what he's been working on. He did bring in the thicker block of wood that's going to go behind the body cap, and he had those two put together, not glued, but temporarily screwed together so that I could feel the weight of it and everything and sign off on that. And I was like, yes, it is heavier, but it feels more like it should. It was too light before. And so I don't know. I don't know if he's gluing the cap and the body together now. He said it wouldn't be, once he got the saws in, he has the fret wire bender, so they have to bend the radius of the neck. You know, the neck has a curve to it across the top. So they have to bend that wire. I think it's like an 8-inch radius. So it's a big, big piece of wire they bend, but that little bit of curve, when they cut the correct width, it fits right into the curve of the guitar neck. And then they drive those down in there. Then there comes the whole fret polishing, dressing process where they have to they clip off all the edges of the metal that stick out over the neck.
Right.
And then they have to go file all that down so that it doesn't dig into your hand while you're playing.
Right.
And then they have to level the tops of all of the frets. So they lay the neck down. They have these special big block sanders that go across, and they literally take like a red or an orange magic marker and they draw on each one of the pieces of metal, and they go across until all of those colors are gone. And then they'll do it again, and they'll see, okay, this one's wearing first, so we know it's high. And till those are all perfectly level. And then there is a polishing that they do. And then they have to put in the nut. And he's not done the nut until the frets are done. Because there's a certain measurement that has to be done on the nut. The nut is the little white bone-looking piece that the strings fit through before they go up to the tuners. So that has to be cut, and he's got the files and everything for that. Those came in a couple weeks ago. Very intricate processes, a lot of room for mistakes.
Wait. Megan says she's got a question. She's raising her hand.
Yes, Megan. Hold on. Hi there, Morning KIX. What's the
dumbest movie I ever saw was Pool Boy.
Was who?
It's called Pool Boy, and it is the dumbest movie.
Poor boy?
Pool boy or a poor boy? Pool boy. I'll have to look that up.
I haven't heard of that one.
I'm
What's
going
that
to look
about?
that up. I'm assuming it's about a pool boy. We'll have to look it up and make sure she watches it. Thanks for the call. What's your question, Megan?
She says, Randy, can you make a sound bit? Of what?
Of what? Yeah. You mean sound bite?
What you need?
Oh, the sound of the VHS made when you were rewinding it and it was almost done. That'd be easy.
Oh, they want the KIX group laugh too. You want to hear that
Oh,
while we're talking sounds?
I don't know. I think I deleted that.
You did not.
I think I did.
You better not have.
Pretty sure it's gone.
Why would we
Forever.
delete that?
Forever and ever gone. Do you mean this?
Oh, with Janice, I love it. 30 seconds.
You want the sound of a VHS tape being rewound? Okay, are you ready to time me to see how long it takes to find it?
Go.
Wait a minute, I'm not ready to go yet. Okay, I've got it pulled up now.
5 seconds. It's taking you 5 seconds, I should say. We got to go in 5 seconds.
Oh, well, I have it. KIX 102.5, the 4 states, #1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen.
Wanting to know what's the worst movie you've ever seen?
623-1025 to text or tell us.
Or tell us on Facebook. It's Dirk Bentley on KIX.
You mean that?
No. That sound?
Yep. That's the one.
She said, there it is.
You moved the mouse.
I like your pink sweater. Sweatshirt.
Pink, it's orange.
Sorry, salmon.
Coral, salmon. Yeah.
It's pink.
I've worn it before.
I know, and I always comment on the pinkness of it.
I feel like I think my weight's getting to where I'm certain clothes that I weren't okay with. I'm now okay with.
Yeah. That's a nice feeling.
The heartburn sure isn't.
Yeah.
That was just stupid.
Yeah, it sucks.
I had a guy I've been talking with. He's a friend of mine. Has really been petitioning me to teach him martial arts. I mean, he's interested in a long-term commitment. I'm like, I'm not sure I am.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What's
I don't
the
know.
concern?
Well, he's in his early 20s already, which is a little late. You know, to not impossible, but it's going to take, I tried to explain to him, I said, we're talking 10 to 15 years before you see any kind of proficiency. I'm trying everything I can to discourage him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and that even with a rigorous commitment, 10 years of daily practice, you know, you're still going to look at 10 years before you begin to see fluidity and proficiency in this.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes time. And he's like, I realize that. He goes, I'm very, very fascinated. He's begun doing research into the old Okinawan arts and is really wanting, he's like, I just didn't realize this does not exist in the United States anymore. And I'm like, not the original traditionals. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I'm interested in committing to that. You know,
It's been
there's
a long time since you've taught.
senpai-kohai relationship. And one describes the student's commitment, one describes the teacher's commitment. And it has to be an equal for there to be any kind of success.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like there's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure there is.
10 seconds.
The only good thing is he does not live near here. KIX 102.5, the four states, number one for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen, 836.
Sunshine with highs in the low 70s. It is 50 in Joplin.
And we'll give you a look at the weather forecast in the next hour. Plus, the Morning KIX takeover is getting ready to start in just 15 minutes.
So make sure to go on the KIX app or the KIX website and let us know what songs you want to hear this morning.
But we're talking about the worst movie that you have ever seen.
623-1025 to call or text.
What was your worst movie?
It's got to be the Blair Witch Project.
I'm so scared. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that they've oversold more than that. There wasn't one scary part in the whole thing.
That was so horrible.
That was the thing they were doing, too, in the late 80s, early 90s, all through that period where they would overhype a movie and then you would end up at the theater going, what the heck was that?
Well, wasn't there also like a website and there was so much more to this movie than just the movie itself?
Yeah, there were people thinking it was a real
Yeah.
thing. There was no such thing as the Blair Witch. There's not a town of Blair.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
It's called Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That's the animated Keanu movie.
So what's that about?
His wife and the kids go on vacation, and he stays home because he has to work. And then these two teenage girls come to his house, and they end up having sex and all this other stuff, and they blackmail him and say they're going to send it to his wife. And at the end of the movie, it's like they just leave. Like, there was no end to the movie. It was so stupid. I was like, why did I even rent this movie?
I hate when movies don't wrap themselves up at the end. Like, it drives me crazy.
Like, what was the point of all that?
Yeah, like the movie didn't even make sense because he said he was going to meet his wife and his kids, and then all of a sudden these two teenage girls come over, and then it's weird. Don't watch it ever.
Avoid it. Besides, she told you the whole premise anyway, so there you go.
What is the worst movie you've ever seen?
It's called Say It Isn't So.
Really? What do you not like about Say It Isn't So?
What's it about?
There's this guy who falls in love with this hairdresser, and they fall in love, and then they find out that they're brother and sister.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't remember that part.
And then later, they find out that they're not actually brother and sister.
Yay! Okay,
What?
right.
The acting on it is just awful. No, I'm cringing the entire time.
Well, but
How
that
do
was
you get it so messed up, though?
Well, see, when you live in a southern state.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
623-1025, or you can tell us on Facebook.
It's the four states number one for country.
KIX 102.5.
Like, no. No. Major said, went to Orange Belt before everything in my life changed and had to move, but I miss it.
What?
He did martial arts in his 20s. He joined in his 20s and he loved it.
What kind, though? What? And that's
Morning,
what
Cam.
I told him. We've been going through this discussion. He's been sending me schools in his area, and I can dig into just their whole website and their social media presence just a little bit and can tell what their priority is.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to understand, a lot of these places are businesses. So they're like, we'll guarantee you a black belt in 1 year. Well, I can guarantee you one in like 6 to 8 days, from
Right.
Century. They're just right over here in Tulsa. But the deal is, it's not just that. They have this whole scheduled curriculum plan, and you pay for every step of the way. And you must have these things bought and paid for before you go. It's just a whole, we call them black belt factories. They just crank it out like it doesn't mean anything and teach their kids how to do a couple of high kicks and how to get out there and box each other. And that's it. That's not the real deal. And this guy wants to learn actual sticky hands grappling and
Sticky hands.
core movement, and things like that. And I'm like, that just takes a long
How
time.
do you pronounce what Major just said? I don't know. That's just what he said he was in.
Hapkido. Yeah. Grandmaster Kim's Hapkido. So Grandmaster Kim was a guy who made, I know a lot about Kim's history. And Hapkido, by the way, I really, really like Kim's program. I really did. I like Hapkido. I think if I wasn't studying Shorin-ryu, I would have studied Hapkido.
Good job, Major.
But Kim's Hapkido, he was one of these guys that came from Korea. It's a Korean style, but it's based on Shorin-ryu, which is the stuff that I studied. So it is very close. The two they share a lot of the same kata, although they call them something else in Hapkido. Hapkido is also based, it's the Hap is the Korean and the Aikido is the Japanese. Hapkido. And he brought it to the United States in the late 70s, I think, and set up this whole pyramid deal with his schools. So every single one of the schools that would open. Jen, your future love interest is outside.
Scared the daylights out of me.
So he set up this whole pyramid deal where every school, he would help you get the school open and everything. You signed a contract, you do all this stuff, but you paid up to him. But if you got another school to open, then they could pay up to you and pay up to them. It became this whole deal, and it was a huge money-making deal. He got very rich off of it.
Major
Yes.
actually met Grandmaster Kim.
That's
served in the
awesome.
military.
Yeah, he's a real deal. And I like Hapkido. I really like Hapkido a lot. I learned some of my first joint locks. We used to have a Hapkido school in our area that we would go visit every couple of months from our school, and we'd all train together. We had a very, very friendly relationship with them.
Just for today.
Oh, Mommy Dearest, it's on the list. I'm thinking, Christy, that we're going to assign that to Jen for Mother's Day.
Let's not. Let's assign a better movie for Mother's Day.
I think that would be a good one this year. We've always had a different movie, mother-related movie for Mother's Day, but I want Mommy Dearest. It's one of those.
Why?
Psycho was last year's, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we end up with horror movies. Mommy Dearest isn't really a horror movie. It's just a shock factor movie. It's a good movie. When is Mother's Day?
Mother's Day is the 11th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure we get that this year.
Great.
You got to spar with Grandmaster Kim.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. How old were you at this time, did he say?
He's at 20s.
Wow. Went to Orange Belt. That's pretty cool, Woody. You know, I would say, I don't know. You can always tell by the time they get about to that middle ground, blue-green belt area, they're usually in for life. In some point or another. Up to that point, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people who are orange that quit and never went back to it, but want to go to a rage room for Mother's Day in his 20s. That's pretty impressive. You got to spar with the guy. He's the real deal, isn't he? I never met him, but I know who he was, and I mean, I know of him, and I've seen some of his stuff. Some of those guys, especially the ones that grew up in that culture, we don't understand that. In Asian culture, your martial art, that is, it's owned by your family. You have your own system in your family, and it's shared and guarded within the family. They don't teach it to outsiders and stuff. So when one of the members of that family would come to the United States and start teaching it to everybody, that's just the antithesis of what was done in the Asian cultures. But you practice that every day, just like sleeping or eating, or that was you. Every family has its own dojo, and you spend a certain amount of time in that every single day, from birth, from the time you can walk, and hopefully someday you would inherit it from your father.
The more you know.
Yeah, just part of their culture, and it's the people who do that stuff to that degree. It's very, very different. Our guy, Shiroma, was the name of the guy who was one of the, got a lot. Nagasato was our grandmaster until he died, but Shiroma was like his nephew or something, and he came over to the United States, and he was actually the consulting martial artist for the original Karate Kid movie. Yeah, tossed me around like a rag doll. Yeah, and Hapkido has a lot of the same joint lock things that where they throw you all around just like in Aikido.
I like how Major just broed you. Bro.
Bruh. It's bruh. Bruh.
Bruh. It was an honor. Bruh.
Yeah, and as long as you go with them when they like trap you, so they do the whole Nikyu, Sonkyu,
That hurts. He's done that to
the
me.
first one. Those are all Aikido joint locks and throws that come as a result of those. But they're in all of the systems. They're in Shorin-ryu. This, and if you spend enough time in Hapkido, you know what this is, Major. This is all over Shorin-ryu. Like everywhere, and all of our katas and everything are traps for that. We were watching a video of Shiroma. It's an old VHS video that they had done, and it's amazing to watch him because it's just next level. You know, it's suddenly you're in the movies. And I remember when my stuff started looking kind of like that, where the, stuff, real super quick stuff, just reacting happened.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay. I don't think Mark brought honey again today.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
trying
hear.
to keep her away from you. That's what he told me.
He did not.
He did too. He said that.
He didn't. Maybe he's not here yet. $35 seconds.
Before everybody leaves, be sure and make a $20 donation to my GoFund.
Your GoFundMe. Your GoFund.
No, GoFund. Just GoFund.
GoFund.
Me.
Daniel sends us a little bit every time he's on TikTok.
Does he really? Do you want to see Shiroma?
My Shiroma. What?
That's what I think every time I see it.
You have it?
Yeah.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta
it's all ugly stuff. KIX 102.5, the 4 states #1 for country. Morning KIX with Randy and Jen, 848.
Sunshine with highs in the low 70s. It is 50 in Joplin.
And we've got the Morning KIX takeover starting in just 5 minutes.
So make sure to go on the KIX app or the KIX website. Let us know the songs that you want to hear this morning.
But we're talking about the worst movie that you've ever seen.
623-1025 to call or text.
What was the worst one you've ever seen?
I went to the 50 Shades of Grey movie with a friend of mine. I had read the book, so I had huge expectations. And I went to the movie, and we got about halfway through, and then we left.
You didn't like it?
You were expecting something a little dirtier, weren't you?
I mean, I've seen more exciting stuff on, network TV than...
I want to know what network TV you're watching.
Yeah, me too.
You have a hype that this movie is supposed to be, so exciting, so crazy, so... And it was just a snooze fest.
So what was the worst movie that you've ever seen?
I'm pretty sure it's called The Hand, where the teenage boy's hand becomes possessed and he has to cut it off in the garbage disposal. That movie was so stupid.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jen,
no.
let's assign that one
I
this
want to watch
weekend.
that one. That
She
sounds
loves
awful.
hand movies.
No, I
It is.
don't.
Don't you love the hand
horrible.
movies?
No, I
thought you
don't.
did.
No. Look at Evil Dead 2 with the hand.
Oh, yeah. What's the movie? What do you think is the worst movie you've ever seen?
It would have to be Napoleon Dynamite.
What? You don't like Napoleon Dynamite?
I like that one.
Eat your food, Tina.
I felt dumber after watching that.
Bow to your sensei. Come on. The whole karate scene.
Your mom goes to college.
There wasn't any parts of that movie that you liked?
None whatsoever. I think you lose brain cells by watching that movie.
But there's so many iconic lines
It's
from
so
that
quotable.
movie.
Even I know that movie.
I got to admit, though, first time I watched it, I was a little confused. I'm like, is this serious? It was kind of like the greener grass thing.
Right,
Like,
you're not really sure what to expect.
Is this real?
What is the worst movie you've ever seen?
Dewey Cox, Walk Hard.
But I love John C. Reilly.
Yeah, not in this one. I did not like it either.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's kind of, I think, making fun of Walk the Line. It's ridiculous.
623-1025 to text us. What do you think is the worst movie ever?
Morning KIX Takeover just 2 minutes away.
On the 4 states #1 for country.
KIX 102.5.
So
I try not to yawn.
this is Shiroma. Oh, he always did this blindfold thing that I thought was stupid. But watch this.
There you go. Go. Ooh. Oh, gosh.
Just stupid.
And who was that? Is that
Shroma,
Sharoma?
the guy in the black top. He'll do another one here. It's so fluid. Watch.
Ooh, and he's down.
First time I saw him, I'm like, that's how I want to move. I want to understand what all this stuff is and be able, I don't want to get out there and just punch and kick. I want to do that. And that became my goal. And then I began to realize, oh, the stuff we do here in the United States is not the stuff that they do over there.
Right.
And so I began studying into the stuff they did over there. I wanted the old traditional martial art. And it's not popular. It's not competitive. It's not about belts. And it's not very sellable. So I began, my schools began to get smaller and smaller, more focused. There was only the people who were really, really, really committed to the art that stuck with me. And I was fine with that. And in fact, I began to discourage students from coming in. I didn't want more students. I wanted more practitioners. So
Quality over quantity.
yeah,
All right, so tomorrow's all about coffee. How do you take your coffee?
black like God intended.
Oh, give me the foo-foo.
Black,
give me the
just like you-
creamer.
just
and
like
the
your women.
caramel. Okay.
No, wait a minute.
Wait.
Black and bitter.
Secret Sound at 7:20. Also Earth Day stuff.
Cobra Kai is a huge joke. Sweep the leg. Although, it does have some roots in traditional Okinawan Shorin Ryu.
Are we getting a visit on Friday from SDC?
Yeah. They're coming in. I've got to meet with them. I don't think they'll be in studio. I've just got to meet with them after the show about a placement of tickets for a giveaway.
Gotcha. Okay, have a great day.
All righty, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Wait.
Bye.
Bye.